live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Wait, this is live?
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, February 21st.
Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. A little foggy out there, but guess what? You don't need a jacket this morning.
Mike, did you know this was live?
Yes, indeed.
He's on board.
Okay.
Yeah, every day. So, yeah, it is very, very foggy this morning. And look at these numbers, 61 degrees, normal low temperature, mid 40s, way above where we should be. And check out that bottom number, dew point of 60. When you get to 60, you definitely notice the humidity. You're going to notice it when you step outside this morning. And boy, it's going to be another warm one later on today. We are going to make it into the upper 70s, way above normal by a good 10 degrees on average. The aquifer yesterday, another big hit. Unfortunately, there's nothing that's going to be helping that out anytime soon. And the allergens, mold, ash, mulberry, all on the low side. Of course, no mountain cedar showing up once again. Here's another look outside, and this is over there at 410, and you can see it is fairly foggy. Now, granted, this camera is up on top of that building out there, but yeah, there's plenty of it out there. Visibility at the airport, 7 miles, quarter-mile Castroville, Hondo, so head out 90. You're going to run into a lot of this fog. Same thing heading out 10. Once again, Gonzales is down to pea soup fog out there, zero visibility, and we've got 5 miles right now in Kerrville. This will continue to be the situation throughout the rest of the morning. I also saw some damp spots on the roads this morning, so just kind of watch that. A little bit of mist thrown in as well. Nothing way out northwest in the hill country, and then go down to the southeast around Victoria, a little bit of fog as well. So we've got 50s and low 60s around most all of the area. Like I said, way above normal temperatures. And then we are going to have more sunshine later on today. Very warm, and also that humidity is going to be sticking around. Tomorrow's an interesting situation. It's going to start off just like today. Then we have that front moving through here, but not what you think initially, because it's going to be even warmer with some dry air and the wind shifting around to the west. Then we get the quote-unquote cooler air coming on in here. I should just say not as warm. We'll have some cooler morning temperatures, still above normal, but not in the upper 70s, just low to mid 70s going into the weekend. That's not going to last very long, because hot and humid Sunday to start off next week, but a more potent front's going to be moving through by the middle part of next week. All the details coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Mr. Horn, the king of dad jokes, is here this morning.
That would be you, Mike, not me. That's you. We go outside with TransGuide, and you saw Mike show the live cam there. Yes, there was some fog. But as we get a little lower here with some of these TransGuide cameras, it honestly doesn't look that bad. I think it was a little worse earlier, but that's the what fog does. It lifts and comes back, and it can be kind of tricky in that way. So as we look at some of the interchanges here, I-37 and 410, looks pretty good there. I-37 and Alamo Dome, some low-hanging clouds, but not necessarily a lot of fog in that picture. If you are out and about, listen, I'm not telling you how to drive, but just some suggestions. If you are driving in the fog, use low beams and fog lights, never the brights, and slow down. Leave distance between you and the car ahead of you. That really goes for any time, but especially during foggy situations. As we look at the map this morning, all is green. We have one stall right there at 410 and I-35. It's not causing any issues. But as the commute picks up, we know that there likely will be some slowdowns, and we'll be here to tell you about them once they do show up. Guys?
Thank you, Justin. This morning, there are still a lot of questions regarding the death of a Northside ISD 73-year-old teaching assistant. Alfred Jimenez, who everyone knew as Mr. Fred, died this past weekend after he was hurt in a classroom earlier this month. Now, NISD released a statement saying, quote, the injury occurred while the employee was attempting to redirect a student. In the course of the interaction with the student, the employee fell to the floor and sustained a head injury. Now, we spoke with one woman who used to work at the same school as Mr. Fred, and she says working with special needs students is no easy task.
On an everyday basis, you would be kicked, you would be spit on, you would be scratched, you would be punched, you would have to run after these children.
How do you manage all that on a daily basis?
Well, I don't work there anymore. Does that answer that question?
We have asked NISD for more information as to what led to Mr. Fred's death. They told us because they are still investigating what happened, they can't share a police report from the incident.
This morning, President Biden is taking the lead over former President Trump when it comes to campaign cash. The FEC, in its latest filings, found the Biden campaign and the Democratic National Committee combined to have more than $80 million cash on hand. Trump's campaign and the Republican National Committee hold roughly half that amount as $39 million cash. Those figures based on reports covering fundraising and spending activity during January. And already in February, Biden and the DNC are taking the lead once more with over $24 million in cash on hand. That's compared to Trump and his team's $8.7 million.
Prosecutors say a former FBI informant charged with making up a multi-million-dollar bribery scheme involving President Joe Biden, his son Hunter, and a Ukrainian energy company had contacts with officials affiliated with Russian intelligence. Now, prosecutors say that all that in a court filing, urging a judge to keep Alexander Smirnov behind bars while he awaits trial. But a U.S. magistrate judge allowed Smirnov to be released from custody on electronic GPS monitoring. He is charged with falsely reporting to the FBI in June of 2020 that executives associated with the Ukrainian energy company paid Hunter and Joe Biden $5 million each in 2015 or 2016.
If you plan on becoming a U.S. citizen soon, the cost to do so is about to go up. Applications for citizenship will cost $760 starting April 1st. That's up $120 from the current version of the N-400 paperwork, which is still $640. Green card costs are going up too, so immigration attorneys are urging anyone wanting to get started on their path to citizenship to start before April 1st. Well, a tragic end to the search for a missing girl in East Texas.
The case is now raising questions about the suspect's past and why he was not required to register as a sex offender. ABC's Lionel Moise explains what's next after investigators found the body of 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham.
This morning, new questions about whether the death of an 11-year-old girl north of Houston could have been prevented as new details emerge about the suspect. The body of Audrey Cunningham was found in a local river yesterday after a 5-day search. Police say the river is one place the suspect, Don Stephen McDougal, told authorities he had recently been.
My heart aches with this news, and I express with my deepest sympathies and condolences to everyone who knew, who cared for, and loved Audrey.
Water levels had to be lowered so divers could reach Audrey's body. She was reported missing last Thursday after failing to catch her bus to school. Investigators say McDougal, a friend of Audrey's father who lived in a camper behind their home, promised to take her to the bus that morning, but refused to tell investigators what happened next. McDougal's criminal history includes more than a dozen arrests. Records show he was indicted for attempted indecency to a child stemming from an incident in 2007. That charge would have required him to register as a sex offender, but he was allowed to plead down to a lesser charge of child enticement, avoiding sex offender registration. McDougal was taken into custody on an unrelated charge last week. As authorities questioned him in recent days, Audrey's mother held on to hope that her girl would be found alive.
Not a single person could say anything bad about her. She's not a bad child. She has so many opportunities ahead of her.
An autopsy is now being performed to determine how Audrey died. McDougal could be facing capital murder charges. Lionel Moise, ABC News, New York.
Back here at home, let's go to the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo Bull Ride. I'm going to start by showing you the ride of the night last night. Cody Teal taken for a wild ride by surprise, spinning fast, but Teal stays on board, earns an 88 for that beauty. As you can imagine, that was good enough to finish atop the leaderboard. Up next, second best 8-second ride of the night and the matchup of the night. Parker Bredding riding Dim Tricks, and that bull threw out all the tricks, but nothing could buck him off. Bredding earns a score of 82. And that's last night's bull riding at the Stock Show and Rodeo, which winds down this weekend.
That's right. Time now 5:09 and 60 degrees for now.
Ahead on GMSA, why Tinder will now require users in the U.S. to upload a driver's license or passport photo.
Also next, how schools are dealing with a major shortage of substitute teachers.
Outside with live cam. Pretty foggy day, especially compared to yesterday, which it was patchy here or there. Please be careful.
Welcome back. It is 5:12. School districts across the country are struggling to find substitutes to cover classrooms when teachers call in sick or take days off. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the details in today's GMA First Look.
In this morning's GMA First Look, the nationwide substitute teacher shortage intensifying, with many school districts from coast to coast scrambling to find fill-ins.
In some instances, again, a district that has 2,700 teachers, we may have as much as 300 teachers who are absent each day.
While demand has traditionally exceeded supply for substitute teachers because of the pandemic, 20% of requests for fill-ins have gone unfilled. Many districts leaned on substitutes to help fill vacant teaching positions. Now, the pool of available subs shrinking for when teachers take days off.
What we've seen post-pandemic is a strong increase in both vacancies and teacher absence, which means subs are teaching more than ever before.
And coming up at 7 a.m., more from educators about what this shortage means. With your GMA First Look, I'm Morgan Norwood, ABC News, New York.
513, 60 degrees.
Up next, Apple is making a big promise when it comes to the battery life for its newest iPhone.
And checking TransGuide right now, we are going to see fog more widespread this morning, as we've talked about for a few minutes here on the early edition of GMSA. Justin is in for RJ, and we're going to tap into his expertise coming up.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe rich is less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering magic. Rich is being able to keep your loved ones close and also send them away. Rich is living life your way and having someone who can help you get there. The key to being rich is knowing what counts.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. Like 2 lines of unlimited for just $27.50 a line. That's half the price of Verizon or AT&T. So switch to T-Mobile and save.
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser powers through tough messes, so it makes it look like I spent hours cleaning. And you know I didn't.
It makes my running shoe look like new. It's amazing.
It's so good. Makes it look like I have magical powers.
Magic Eraser and sheets make cleaning look easy.
Tinder is expanding its photo ID verification program to users in the U.S. ABC's Allison Cossack has details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Tinder is advancing its security. The dating app is bringing its advanced ID verification system to the U.S. by summer. Users will have to upload a valid driver's license or passport and take a video selfie in order to get a blue authenticity checkmark. Next, Apple has good news for iPhone 15 owners. The company says the device's battery has double the promised lifespan. The announcement comes ahead of upcoming EU regulations assigning an energy grade for phones' battery longevity. And finally, Adobe is offering a new generative AI to chat with documents. The tool is designed to make information in long PDF files easier to find and understand. It can summarize, answer questions, and make recommendations. Pricing for the new AI assistant is starting at $12.99 per month. Those are your Tech Bites. I'm Allison Cossack. Have a great day.
518, of course, it's a little foggier at the altitude that Justin operates at.
It's true.
Well, in general.
Yeah. Well, it's just the way it goes. The weather appears good, by the way, if you were wondering.
You're going to make it up?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
This is why you shouldn't eat like a granola bar.
That, yes.
Yeah,
We've
lodged in your throat.
We've
Anyway,
all done that.
That was a lot of information. And let's take a look at the TransGuide shot here. And we are seeing some fog, but it hasn't been horrible. Mike will talk more about that here in just a second. There's places where it is going to be rather thick, and so you may encounter that, some lower visibility in spots. But I-37 in Salado Creek looks good, 37 at 181. Not a problem there, but you can just kind of see the haze in some of those street lamps. 60 and 4, Pat Booker, no problems there either. So let's go to the maps. We're seeing all green. I did see a report of a crash coming in along I-35 in Rittiman. I'll check on that. I didn't see anything there, but it doesn't mean it's not there. It could be on the service road there, and we'll check in on that in just a little bit. I did notice there is a slowdown, 35 coming inbound. This is pretty typical. There's construction there, and this often is a place that gets slowdowns in the morning. It's already there, and we're only at 5:20. So know that that's going to be a problem throughout the morning, and we'll continue to see some of that fog in and around San Antonio if we see any incidents or where that fog is thick, we'll certainly let you know. Mike, what are you seeing as far as visibility's gone?
Well, it really depends on where you are. In and around town, it's okay for right now, but especially if you go out to the east over around Gonzales. I'm going to show you that in a second. Yesterday, we had a little bit of a foggy start, which made for a very impressive sunrise. Great picture. Appreciate that. And over there by 10 at 410. And again, this camera's up on top of that building, and a lot of times it is stuck in the fog. But yeah, it's not bad. You can see all the fog off there in the distance. 7 miles out at the airport, 10 still at Randolph, New Braunfels. Gonzales, well, actually, Gonzales has gone up a little bit to quarter-mile visibility. Same thing, Castroville, Hondo, and those are the thickest areas of fog as of right now. And I say as of right now because a lot of times it will kind of go back and forth, and it gets thicker as we approach sunrise and just after that. Cotulla, Laredo, a little bit of fog, and Victoria. So again, the thickest spots are just to the west of town over there, right around Castroville, as well as Hondo this morning. Temperatures around the area right now, and there we go, 61 here in town, 50s elsewhere, and some low 60s. So we are way above normal by, on average, a good 15 degrees. And the humidity has really come back in here. And you can see we are at the threshold line of 60, where you really start to feel that humidity. And compared to yesterday at this time, dew points are up a good 15, 20 degrees or more than that. And that's going to continue to be the case throughout the rest of today, with the humidity getting pumped in here with these winds out of the south to southeast. So that goes through tomorrow morning. But then watch what happens during the day. We dry out. We get the front to move on through here. Now, what's interesting is it's not going to cool down initially. So we'll get this drier air moving on in, but the winds are going to be primarily out of the west-northwest, going to be sort of downsloping. And with that situation, we will get things to warm up. That always heats up. So tomorrow's going to be the hottest day, although it will be more comfortable as far as the humidity goes in the afternoon. This morning, temperatures upper 50s, low 60s around here. That 10% takes into account a little bit of some of that mist. I noticed a couple of just damp spots on the roads coming into work this morning. 70 today at noon, and we get up to 78 later on this afternoon, a good 10 degrees above normal. Bit of a breeze out there as well this afternoon. Winds out of the south primarily at 10-15 miles per hour, a little bit gusty. Then tomorrow, more fog in the morning. Front moves through. We'll hit 84, and behind that as the humidity drops off, then we get the cooler air coming in here. 72 on Friday, still above normal. A little bit cooler in the mornings. I mean, we're still above normal even going into Saturday. Humidity starts to come back in here Sunday and especially Monday, Tuesday, back up into the low 80s. And then we have another front, a little bit more of a potent front that's going to be moving through here. And that'll be during the day on Wednesday, which will actually put us back down to jacket weather by the latter part of next week.
But very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice looking weekend, although on the warm side.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it. 523, 61 degrees.
And up next, the plans to make 4 movies, one about each member of the Beatles, plus a documentary that looks at a legendary Ukrainian restaurant in New York City.
Movie news now, from 4 Liverpool lads to a Ukrainian restaurant in Manhattan.
Here's CNN's David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
I really enjoyed that. It's Beatlemania for Sam Mendes. The Oscar-winning director is set to make not just one Beatles movie, but a Fab 4, each told from a different band member's point of view. Sony says Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and the estates of John Lennon and George Harrison have all granted Mendes full life story and music rights. Each of the 4 Beatles films is set to have its own release date, all in 2027.
A donation? With food, you can connect anybody.
Veselka has become the hub for helping Ukraine.
And the subject of a new documentary. Veselka, the rainbow on the corner at the center of the world, looks at the beloved 70-year-old Ukrainian New York restaurant, known as a beacon of hope for Ukraine, as well as for its borscht and pierogi. The movie opens Thursday in Ukraine and beginning Friday in U.S. theaters. Saturday marks the 2-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
527, 61 degrees.
Next on GMSA, an update on the 2 men who are now charged with murder in the shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, February 21st.
Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. A little warmer for Rodeo Week.
Yes, indeed. And throughout the rest of rodeo, and as is evident over there, no jackets this morning. So without one of that. And then he's going to say he's cold. So
we should maybe take the cue, Mike.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We've got also some fog to deal with around the area. A little bit of mist, some damp roads. This is a look over there by 10 at 410 on the northwest side. And as you can see, fog's not thick by any stretch over here, but you can see all that kind of haze and all that extra moisture off there in the distance. Temperature stands at 61 degrees. Should be in the mid 40s right now this time of year. And then look at that number. When these two are running neck and neck like that, we've got relative humidities well up in the upper 90s. There is a decent breeze right now, and that usually helps to prevent a lot of the thick fog from forming up. But in places, there is some pretty good fog. Castroville, as a matter of fact, quarter-mile visibility. It has improved slightly there at Hondo and Gonzales at a quarter mile as of right now. Port SA and Stinson are both at 5. So, again, situation where visibility can drop down. You can kind of turn the corner and run into some of this thicker fog. And also, it will continue to stick around and thicken up as we approach sunrise and just after that. And a little bit of mist, like I said, on the roads as well. 50s and 60s all around here on average. Again, 15 above normal approximately. Mold, ash, mulberry all on the low side. The updated count is going to come out later on this morning. 70 at noon, 78 for a high temperature. Again, 10 degrees above normal with plenty of humidity. It is going to be on the breezy side, though. Wind out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour is just going to continue to pull in some of that humidity. Tomorrow, it gets even hotter, despite a front moving on through here, but then it will cool down a little or not be as hot. I'll explain all of that. And then there's another more potent front way down the road. Details in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Mr. Horn, what's cooking?
Thank you, Mike. We do have 2 police officers right now addressing a situation at I-35 in Redmond. That's what I just spoke about there a few minutes ago. We do have eyes on it now via TransGuide, and it looks like it's a 1-car issue, but it is slowing down traffic just a little bit. You can see cars there in the adjacent lane. Now, as you know, if you do see an incident like this on the side of the road, you're encouraged to get over a lane or slow down. It looks like the cars are slowing down, but this may start to cause some backups. We'll see. Not yet. And TransGuide's turning it for us. Yeah, it looks like there's a Hero truck on the scene too. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's the one incident we're finding out there. And again, it's at I-35 in Redmond, and we are starting to see a few slowdowns associated with that. That is southbound coming into town. We've also noticed some slowdowns here along the 1604 I-35 corridor. Of course, there is construction here. It's a pretty common issue, but starting to see that there around the Selma area. And then report of a stall there at Blanco and 1604. That is not causing any issues. And so far, with TransGuide, we haven't seen a lot of issues with the fog either, which is good news. Visibility has been okay here in most spots around town. Guys.
Thank you, Justin. Now to our continued coverage on Bexar County DA Joe Gonzales and his dealings with the Wren Collective, a third-party criminal justice reform group. Gonzales was in Commissioner's Court yesterday discussing an update on a high-risk intake reduction plan. That's when Commissioner Grant Moody asked the DA about his relationship with the reform group and whether that group has had any influence on criminal charges in Bexar County.
There's been some reporting locally about communications with the Wren Collective and other groups. Can you speak to that and make clear whether third-party groups are impacting charging decisions here in Bexar County?
But I will tell you, and I will tell this entire court, that nobody makes decisions outside my office. I'm the one that makes those ultimate decisions. Nobody has any influence other than having had some messaging recommendations.
There's a lot more to this story. To get a full breakdown, just head to KSAT.com and look for this article. 2 men have been charged with the murder in last week's shooting after the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade. Court documents just released say the men were strangers who pulled guns and started firing within seconds of starting an argument. Missouri prosecutors say that Lindell Mays of Raytown, Missouri, and Dominic Miller of Kansas City, Missouri, have been charged with second-degree murder and several weapons counts. The shooting left 1 person dead and roughly 24 others hurt. Mays and Miller were shot during the incident and have been hospitalized since.
In Florida, a young girl was buried in sand and died yesterday when a deep hole she was digging, along with a little boy, collapsed on them both at a South Florida beach. Now, emergency crews found the boy, who was about 8 years old, buried up to his chest in sand. The girl was about 7 years old, and she was completely buried underneath the boy. Rescuers used support boards to keep more sand from collapsing in as they used shovels to dig the children out. The girl was rushed to an area hospital but did not make it. It wasn't immediately known whether an adult was helping the children dig the hole.
This morning, new video, some tense moments in the sky and on the ground.
As ABC's Allison Cossack shows us, there are 3 examples of recent flights that did not go as planned.
This morning, the FAA is investigating multiple mid-air incidents across the country, including in New York, where this single-engine plane made an emergency landing on a busy Long Island highway.
Very, very shocking. I see a plane go down.
The pilot, facing engine trouble, was trying to land at a nearby airport but didn't make it. No one in the plane or on the ground was seriously injured. Meanwhile, an American Airlines flight was forced to return to Albuquerque after a man allegedly tried to open the plane door after takeoff. Videos show passengers wrestling the man to the cabin floor, then using duct tape to restrain him. Blaze was one of the first passengers to wrestle him down.
He already had the safety mechanism down. He had both hands on the lever and he was like yanking it. And he's a big dude and he had it, pretty well pulled. And I don't know if you could hear it, but I could hear the actual difference in pressure. There was a whistling.
The man was taken into custody after the plane landed. The FBI is now investigating.
Plane takes off and all of a sudden it hears loud, violent vibration.
Witnesses are also describing a mid-air scare on this United flight, cut short after the wing started tearing apart. The plane was carrying 165 passengers from San Francisco to Boston, but the crew made an emergency landing in Denver after passengers spotted that damage to the wing.
Next thing you know, the pilot comes on the PA system and announces that we've sustained some damage.
Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Well, back here at home, it's a brand new surgery technology. It's the only one of its kind here in San Antonio. The stuffed animal has a robotic arm controlling it. The arm, also known as Da Vinci, down at Christus Children's Hospital.
Da Vinci was designed for child patients in mind. So what's the benefit to having surgery done by a robot? Well, according to the surgeons at Christus, there's less pain and recovery time is quicker.
And I control the whole robot through a separate area that I sit over in the other side of the operating room. So a lot of people worry that the robot is going to do the surgery itself. No, the surgeon does the surgery with the robotic technology.
Dr. Ann O'Connor went on to say that children deserve to have the most advanced technology available to them when it comes to their health care.
It's now 38 minutes past the hour, 61 degrees.
My dad will play music all the time. And we call it cleanup music. That was Motown. When you heard that Motown song, you had to get up.
Up next, how one man is helping the Alamo City keep its finger on the pulse of the local African-American community.
Outside with live cam, much milder this morning, 61 degrees, but with that comes more moisture, and that means fog. We've been talking about it now since our first half hour. We'll get an update with Justin and Mike straight ahead.
Welcome back. It's 5:41. Well, with a computer, microphone, and internet access, one man is helping San Antonio keep its finger on the pulse of the local African-American community.
He is the owner and voice of WSAN Radio, an online source of music, information, and entertainment. As Katrina Weber shows us, the daily broadcast originates from a hub of history.
Well, good morning again, everybody. Good morning. We are here live.
Whether morning, noon, or night, Ronald Gordon is there, trying to spread good through the airwaves. The lifelong music lover revels in sharing his passion with the public.
My dad will play music all the time, and we call it cleanup music. That was Motown. When you heard that Motown song, you had to get up.
10 years ago, he started up what is now WSAN Radio. Among the music, it also offers motivation and messages targeting the African-American community.
Voting is mighty important. It's coming up March 5th, the primary voting.
Gordon Gordon wasn't always this smooth of a talker. The Illinois native says he struggled with stuttering as a child.
I mean, I was ashamed to talk. I got beat up. I was bullied. I was all that.
Somehow, when he turned on a microphone, he found magic. He began working in his free time as a DJ at parties, then in regular radio, before going out on his own. These days, he has plenty of company, nearly 40,000 listeners.
We just have fun, just messing with each other, because that's the family that we have and do things that we do.
He also has help from people like Sharon Bell Moses, who host an entertainment segment.
We have a bunch of fun. He's a big brother. I respect Ron very much. He's putting a lot into the community.
That includes more than his time. Gordon self-finances the entire WSAN operation. His station is non-traditional, offered strictly online and through an app, and in a non-traditional place. A former church, now the Williams Historical National Museum, currently serves as its headquarters. As Gordon and his station blaze trails in the world of radio, it's only appropriate that they do it in this space, among the images of those who've also made a lasting impression.
I feel blessed that I can wake up in the morning and do something that I really like doing.
Thousands of listeners seem to like it too. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Time check right now, 5:44, 61 degrees.
And are you feeling lonely? Well, up next we have this precious pet that needs a new friend today too.
And checking TransGuide. Yeah, there's a little bit of fog in that last shot, 410. And here's 35 at Rittiman, where we've got a couple of SAPD units out there. This is the rotating shot, so it's jumping around. There's 37 at the Dome.
Well, sometimes little babies, when they're 2-3 months old, and they have that little fear period, and this one, and just a cuddle or two. So,
yeah.
You know, Felicia, you just all snuggled in there.
Oh, I know.
Who's this baby,
He's keeping me warm. This is Miles, and he is a 3-month-old shepherd who is available for adoption. I think he's going to be on the larger side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got some chunky little paws, but I'll tell you what, this guy is just hanging on dearly, because as a little flayed.
He's so handsome.
You are short coat, easy to take care of. Gonna have a lot of energy.
Yes.
Backyard tennis ball kids. Everybody sleeps good.
Yes,
so.
exactly.
All right, what you got going on?
Well, we have our Pet Champion program, which is super cool, because we are allowing for pet advocates ages 3 to 11 to come and volunteer with us, which is interesting, right? Because you don't think,
okay.
I know, as long as they're with a parent or a guardian, they can join the program. Oh, thank you, baby. It's there's a $30 orientation fee, and you get a shirt, of course, so that we know who's there when they're spending time with our babies. But what's really awesome is these bandanas here that you can see that Miles is wearing. Our Pet Champions made these for our babies.
Oh, wow.
And so they can come out, they can read or write about our pets. They can read to them, like I said. They can do some enrichment and just really help, show some love to all of our babies that we have at the shelter.
What a great program. Well, if you'd like more information about that, and of course, Mr. Miles here, so you little shy boy, head on over to the Animal Defense League, 11th Area in Nacogdoches, Paul Jolly Center, right over there by the zoo. Give them a call, 655-1481, or the website, adltexas.org. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Look at the paws on that thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Be a big pup.
Yes.
Yeah, very big pup. So.
A runner.
A friend for Penny. So.
Oh.
You just floated that right out there.
No pressure.
Yeah, probably needs to happen soon. We'll see. I want to take you guys to that crash over there on I-35 in Rittiman. Still some flashing lights. Looks like they're loading that car onto the tow truck there, which always takes a few minutes to get that done. But that's on the shoulder, so there are going to be some slowdowns in the adjacent lane. This is southbound 35 right at Rittiman. But yeah, that's been there for roughly 20 to 30 minutes. But they've got the car on the record now, so it shouldn't be much longer. They'll clear that out. But keep in mind, if you see those flashing lights, you got to get over a lane or slow down. That's the rule. And you can see most of the cars are abiding by that as they slow down with that incident on the shoulder. Let's take a look at some of the other TransGuide cameras here. And that 1604 Military looks good, 281 Marshall Road. I'm just not seeing a lot of fog. We had quite a bit earlier, as Mike will tell you here in a second, but it looks like a lot of that has lifted, at least here across San Antonio. Maybe not the case in other parts of our viewing area. Let's look at the map, and we do have a couple stalls, one up there at 1604 and Blanco, another one near downtown that has just come in, and then we have that crash at I-35 in Riddeman, just causing a few slowdowns there in the southbound lanes. And very quickly, we'll look at that stall there at Blanco and 1604. This is not causing any slowdowns, but as traffic picks up here over the next couple of hours, we likely will see some slowdowns, and we'll pass those along to you when they show up. Mike, how are things looking in the visibility department?
Well, like yesterday, right in San Antonio and Bexar County proper, there's not a heck of a lot of fog, but as I mentioned earlier, I saw a little bit of some damp spots on the roads coming into work, so we'll have to watch out for that. Beautiful view of the moon over Kerrville. It is going to be full on Saturday, and yeah, great moon viewing weather the next couple of evenings. Okay, out there 10 at 410, besides being out of focus, you can see visibility is okay. 7 miles at the airport, 10 Randolph, 6 at Portishead, so just hints of it. But then again, you go west, Castroville is at 1 mile, 2 miles at Hondo. It's actually, these two areas have improved a little bit. We do have a somewhat of a breeze out there right now. Then go east, and Seguin, Gonzales, you're going to run into some more of this fog. So it's kind of those two big batches, and we're sort of splitting the uprights right here in town. But that doesn't mean we're not going to be seeing fog over the course of the morning. It usually gets a lot thicker right around sunrise just after that. So just a smattering of spots heading down toward Victoria. Some more fog there and going down 37 as well. Throughout the rest of the morning, we'll keep fog around here. A little bit of mist may be associated with it. Damp spots on the roads. That's that 10% on this graphic. And then 70 at noon. Sort of a mixture of sunshine and clouds, a little bit more leaning toward more sunshine later on today, 78. And it's going to be somewhat on the breezy side, 10, 15 mile per hour winds. So we've got a lot of humidity hanging around here today. Then we get a front moving on through here. And this is kind of an unusual situation because we get hotter in behind the front. It's a Pacific front, not an Arctic front. And we're going to get some dry air, as you can see, coming on in here. And so then Friday, Saturday look fantastic. And then, boy, just flip a switch. Humidity comes back in here Sunday and Monday for the first part of next week. Satellite picture, and you can just, if you squint, see some of this darker shade, these low clouds that slide on in here. And we're still looking at that big storm system out there to the west of us, which has the sort of indirect effect. We're getting this ridge building out ahead of that thing. It's going to sort of fall apart, if you will. By tomorrow, here's that little bit of a front, kind of a northwesterly flow. Some of these, the drier air that comes on in here. And so that's going to allow us to get cooler than where we are right now in the mornings, but still not down to normal readings all the way through this forecast. Ridge is going to build back in here by Sunday. More humidity comes back on in here. So it's going to be hot Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But this next front will move through Wednesday, and that's actually going to cool us down for the latter part then of next week. So the forecast goes like this. We are going to be up to 78 today, 84 tomorrow. The drier air comes in here. Of course, drier air heats up a lot more easily. We're going to have a west wind primarily. That downslopes, that also heats up again. That's why we get to 84 after that front. Then we're going to be up to 72 on Friday, and so somewhat cooler air, still above normal. Same thing Saturday. Cooler in the mornings, jacket weather. Sunday, heat and humidity come back in here. Humid Monday, Tuesday, 80s again, but then a more potent front middle of next week.
Okay, 70s, 80s, that's tolerable.
Yeah. The other thing, still not on that graphic, rain chances.
Rain, okay. We'll wait for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mike.
5:54 on your Wednesday morning.
Look at your winning lotto numbers. Pick 3, 4, 3, 7, Fireball 7. Daily 4, 6, 4, 0, 8, Fireball 9.
Cash 5 numbers 10, 11, 13, 14, 27. And we've got Mega Millions 5, 45, 55, 58, 68. Mega Ball 7, Mega Plier 2. Good luck.
Good morning, America. Coming up, the story we're all following this morning. The former FBI informant in court, accused of lying about President Biden and his son Hunter. The new allegation by government prosecutors. Also this morning, a new mid-air scare and questions for Boeing. That's coming up right here on GMA.
Ahead in the next hour, GMSA, the latest from Bexar County Court, where a murder trial is expected to start later today. Plus, Delta Airlines has a new flight from Austin to see the total solar eclipse up close in April, how it works and what you need to know before takeoff. And checking TransGuide right now, light traffic, but some heavier fog out there this morning.
Hi, good morning. Rise and shine at 61 degrees. You won't need that jacket this morning, but be prepared for all that fog.
Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It is 6 a.m. on your Wednesday, February 21st.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you had a good week so far. And this morning, not too cold, not too bad out there.
But there's a little bit more fog out there than we saw yesterday. Mike is here with more on that, and hopefully we can steer clear of any major problems.
Yes, and really, again, it depends on where you are. I mean, some spots there's hardly anything. I mean, you take a look at this picture right now over there at 10 at 410, and not much showing up. I saw a little bit of some damp roads coming into work, though, this morning, and just watch out for it, especially over the next couple of hours as we tend to get a lot thicker fog right around sunrise just after that. Gonzales, you got a lot of fog again, and that's just kind of confined to that one little spot right there. And then you go just to the west of San Antonio, Castroville and Hondo, although both locations have actually improved a little bit over the past hour. Bernie Stage has dropped down somewhat, and the airport is not reporting anything right now. Actually, visibility has improved in all of the 4 reporting stations right here in town, as has New Braunfels. But again, we're not really out of the woods as of yet. A lot more fog down around Victoria, and then hints of it heading down 35 in toward Cotulla as well as Laredo. Temperatures. The normal low is in the mid-40s right now, and we've actually gone up a couple of notches just in the past hours. Upper 50s, low 60s, anywhere 15, 17 degrees above normal. Mold, ash, mulberry are all on the low side. The updated count's going to be coming out in just a couple of hours. And so we take into account just a little bit of fog out there, maybe some mist. That's that 10% just to keep in mind that roads are on the damp side. 70 today at noon, and then we're going to top off all the way up to 78. We hit 77 yesterday, roughly 10 above normal around the area. It gets even hotter tomorrow, despite a front moving through here. That'll trim temperatures somewhat going into the weekend, but still, it's going to be an above normal weekend for the last one in the month of February. Big question, any rain? We'll try to answer that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Traffic Authority, Mrs. Horn's favorite child.
Got me on that one. All right, we have another incident on I-35 that we got to pass along to you. This time, it's northbound, and this is just coming out of downtown. We've got some flares and flashing lights here. It does appear that one lane on the right side is being blocked here along with the shoulder. So traffic is being forced out into that outside lane, and this is really starting to cause some backups. We're noticing a lot of slow traffic coming out of downtown and going north there along I-35. This is roughly from St. Mary's, North St. Mary's, which is right there, to Pine Street. You're going to be traveling about 25 miles per hour or less at this point because of that crash. So this is going to cause some significant delays as you cross over I-37 and 281 there and head towards, say, Walter Street. So that's the biggest issue we have out there right now. That crash at I-35 in Rittiman, that's cleared. Good news there, but now another incident on I-35. And we'll go back to TransGuide here real quick. And it's another one of those situations, too, where we got first responders, so you got to slow down. But just looking at the traffic flow, things are moving very slow just because of that crash. We're going to keep you updated on this, and if any other crashes come in, we'll let you know, guys.
Thank you, Justin. New details this morning in the aftermath.
Meanwhile, San Antonio police need your help finding these group of underage suspects accused of robbing an elderly woman on Valentine's Day. You can see the woman was walking along West Cesar Chavez in South San Dario last week when the group of kids approached her, pulled her down to the ground, and then stole hundreds of dollars right out of her pocket. Right now, we don't know how old these suspects are. Detectives are circulating the video, hoping that someone in the neighborhood sees the video and will recognize these kids. If you have any information, you are asked to call the San Antonio Police Department.
In morning headlines, police in South Florida are investigating a trip that came to a horrifying ending.
As ABC's Andrew Dimbert tells us, one child is dead and another in the hospital after doing something that kids do every day at the beach.
This morning, a day at the beach turning tragic. 2 young children, brother and sister, falling into this 6-foot deep hole in the sand near Fort Lauderdale.
We arrived with 2 patients, male, female. I was already out from Milton-Berry. We can't see her.
Both freed by first responders and rushed to the hospital, but the little girl later pronounced dead. A witness tells our Miami affiliate the girl was trapped under the sand for 15 minutes.
I mean, you saw grown men digging with shovels and buckets, and nobody could find her.
We've seen these incidents before. Back in 2022, 18-year-old Levi Caverly died at a beach in New Jersey after becoming trapped in a hole he dug with his sister, the 10-foot pit collapsing on both of them. The National Park Service recommends beachgoers avoid digging deeper than your knees when standing inside and always fill in any hole before leaving the beach. Back in Florida, the stunned community remembering that little girl.
It's just heartbreaking that they were just playing harmlessly in the sand.
Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, New York.
In other headlines, President Joe Biden has canceled another $1.2 billion of student loan debt. This latest round of relief impacts nearly 153,000 borrowers enrolled in a new repayment plan the administration launched in August. The Saving on a Valuable Education Plan, known as SAVE, erases remaining federal student loan balances for those who originally borrowed $12,000 or less and have made payments for at least 10 years.
The maker of the popular Stanley Cup is getting sued, and customers have already filed multiple lawsuits. They claim the company failed to disclose that their tumblers contain lead. Stanley says it's in the sealing material used to secure insulation around the base, and the company says it's not anywhere that would come into contact with customers. There have been no official reports of health complications caused by the tumblers.
Well, if you plan on becoming a U.S. citizen soon, the cost to do so is about to go up. Applications for citizenship will cost $760 starting April 1st. That's up $120 from the current version of the N-400 paperwork, which is still $640. Green card costs are going up too, so immigration attorneys are urging anyone who wants to get started on their path to citizenship get started before April 1st.
A reminder that early voting is underway in the Texas primary, and that continues until March 1st. You also have until this Friday to apply for a mail-in ballot. Election Day is on March 5th.
And right now on KSAT.com, we have everything you need to know ahead of Election Day. You can see a sample ballot, voting locations, and info about the candidates. Scan this QR code and head to our Vote 2024 page of our website.
And looking ahead to tonight, State Representative for District 121, Steve Allison, will be joining us for our KSAT Q&A. Republican Allison is trying to win a fourth term in District 121 against Republican challengers Mark LaHood and Michael Champion. You can catch our live interview with Steve Allison tonight at 6:30.
Right now, 6:08, 61 degrees.
And still to come at 6:30, Delta Airlines has a new flight from Austin to see the total solar eclipse. That's up close in April. How it works and what you need to know.
And after the break, American Heart Month is here. How you can keep yours healthy besides just going to the gym.
And let's look out there with live cam, foggy in some areas, so be aware of that. But guess what? 61 degrees. You don't need that jacket this morning. We'll be right back.